الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ثم أما بعد. مسلم ibn Abdul Malik ibn Marwan radiyallahu anhu was one of the great commanders, an army general and a prince. His father is Abdullah ibn Abdul Malik ibn Marwan, Abdullah ibn Abdul Malik ibn Marwan, Umayyad Khalifa. He was so courageous, powerful, excellent leader. He was compared to Khalid ibn al-Walid radiyallahu anhu in his courage and in the number of battles that he entered against the Romans in particular, and the victories that he has accomplished. And he used to go into a battle every year. Some of the people said that he is more deserving to be the Khalifa than many of his brothers. Anyway, one of the battles that he was in against the Romans, they were in a castle, and it was difficult to enter or to conquer that castle. Door is locked, no entrances to it, everything is closed, and on top of that, the Romans were shooting their arrows and everything from the castle, and they inflicted major damage in the army that was led by Maslama. So it was difficult to really conquer that castle. At night, one of his soldiers, he decided to take the task by himself and do something. So undercover, he made it to the wall, and he was digging all night, making a hole, an entrance. And successfully he made one. So he made one at night and went back. And usually the way the fight is, at night they don't fight, in the morning they start. So in the morning when they started, he went directly to that hole, went inside it, and opened the door. And then immediately the Muslim army entered, and it was a short period of time, and they can hear Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. It was conquered, Romans were defeated, and battle was just quick. After the battle, Maslama proclaimed to the army, who is the one who made that hole? Man huwa sahibu al-naqb. Naqb is a hole that he made. No answers. He repeated it again. Who is the one who made that hole so we can reward him? No answer. Came back the next day. Repeated the same thing. No answer. After that, another day, he came and he said, I swear that the one who did that shall come out and identify himself. And he can do that anytime, privately or publicly, day or night. So at night, somebody knocked at the door. He opened, and it was someone completely masked. All you can see barely his eyes. So he said, I came to make your qasam, your swear. I came to fulfill your oath. You know, if you swear on something, for someone to do that on you, especially as your leader, you obey. So I came here to do that, but I have I wish, and he was so polite, I wish that Your Honor would give me 3 conditions, fulfill 3 conditions for me before I how do you do that, brother? Say I identify. As soon as he entered, he asked him, he said, so are you the one who made the hole? He told him what I just said. He said, the one who did it requests 3 conditions from Your Honor before I identify. I have to stop, you can't put it, when you're in a hurry, it doesn't work. Before I identify the person for you. So he said, you got it. What are the conditions? He said, number 1, do not ask about his name. Number 2, do not ask him to remove the mask. And number 3, do not order any rewards for him. He said, you got it. So he told him, I am, and disappeared. He sat there and he started crying. And he remembered the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, من المؤمنين رجال صدقوا ما عاهدوا الله عليه فمنهم من قضى نحبه ومنهم من ينتظر. True men, they actually fulfilled what they promised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some of them died and some of them stay or still alive. Basically, this is one of them. And then every time he goes to sleep and he remembers him, he starts making a dua. Ya Allah, uhshurni ma' sahib al-naqb. Oh Allah, gather me with the person who made the hole. When we look at ourselves, and this is an ideal example in what? In sincerity. When we look at things like that, I reflect on myself. Probably hardly any of my work is accepted based on this. Every and each one of us desires something. Can you imagine? Some of the righteous predecessors used to cry, reflecting on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the religion, next to his wife almost every night, and his wife doesn't know anything about it. Can you imagine some of them used to fast every day, or not necessarily every day, all the time, or plenty of time, and his wife doesn't know about it. His wife doesn't know he's fasting. He goes to work, she gives him the food, he gives it to the poor and needy. And I know you can say, oh, how did we know about it? Simple. Those people who used to get the food stopped. So they came to check on him, what's going on, what happened to my food? Every day you give me food. And that's exactly what happened to a relative of mine in Jordan. Young man, 18 years old, rahmatullahi alayhi. And he's actually my nephew, the son of my sister. His name is Ahmed. He used to know people who work close to his house, and every day he used to take some food for them, whatever in the house, food or fruit or anything. And when he passed away in a car accident, they came asking people, they don't know who he is and where he lives, they asked people that they see, do you know what happened to Ahmed? And then they told them that he passed away. When it comes to sincerity, It's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will eventually show your sincerity after you depart. Yani, you do qiyam. No one knows. After you die, somehow your reputation comes out. For the purpose of what? So people will continue to send dua for you and take you as an example. So yes, you hide it, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals it. And that's the beauty of it. But it doesn't happen now, it doesn't happen then. He may reveal it when you're still alive. But not when you do it. Not because you said it, someone else did it somehow. In some other occasions, one person came and he saw a person praying in the masjid and crying and begging all night. And he knew him. It was like his next door neighbor. This is also a real story in Medina, I believe, in Saudi Arabia somewhere. And he thought it was just an average person. Yani, I don't know what he does, repairing shoes or selling the small shop. Basically, that's what he does. Yani, you belittle him. You would look down at him, maybe just, yani, what does he do? Or how close he is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What's the big thing he does? When he came and found him and saw him like that, and the next day spoke with him, he got so angry. He moved out of the city because he disclosed the secret that he has, or the sincerity that he has between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And look to what extent he did not plan for it. He was so angry because he just wants it between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How sincere are we when we do our actions? Yeah, this is something we have to think about all the time. All the time. And that's why we do fast after fast, even though our sins are forgiven, per se. Why we repeat it again? Because you have no idea what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes from you. He doesn't take anything unless it is purely, sincerely for Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how many of us dare to claim that He has that? So every time you think of this, تذكروا صاحب النقب. Remember the person of that hole. How sincere he is, or he was, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honors people. I don't want money. I don't want even my name known, not mentioned, known. You know, we get so high when we donate sometimes, and we say, yani, undercover donor. This person is not just undercover. You don't even mention the name and doesn't want anything. Stories like that honestly moves me so much, because I don't know, you just سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك